Hi, global superstar giga internet sensation XYZed here, formerly of Twitch.tv, currently of YouTube.com. You might know me from or the same spot that lights the dark so that you can know your left from your right. If not, in any case, after literal years of hanging this hollow promise above your heads, I finally decided to make some tutorials to cover some of the techniques used to create that Boondocks Intro Parody. Think of this more as a general editing tutorial. But in order for me to kind of feel like I'm actually doing something meaningful and fulfilling, I've got to put way too much effort into this. Today, I want to talk about the most important technique in the Boondocks intro, and that's going to be masking. And the first question we really have to ask ourselves is, well, what is a mask? Well, just like in real life, how a mask can hide your identity, a mask in an editing software will hide parts of a video to tell the software what parts you want to see visible and what parts you don't want to see visible. I can even put a mask on this mask I'm wearing right now so that you can see the video that's playing behind the video that I'm talking on. Basically, what a mask does is it's you telling the software what parts of the video you want to be visible and what parts of the video you want to be invisible by creating a shape around that area and defining what you want to happen with it. You can create an ellipse mask, you can create a square mask, you can create a mask with a lot of different edges that I'm now going to have to go back and edit in post. Thank you very much, current me, no problem, past me, love ya. You can even use that custom creation to outline out a shape that you want, animating the individual points of the mask. This is usually done to achieve a sort of green screen effect without an actual green screen, but it's tedious and takes a long time, so you should probably just use a green screen. But XYZed, I hear you say, what the hell does any of this have to do with the Boondocks intro? Well, my intrepid viewer, we'll get to that in a second, all the way at the end of the video. So if you want to see only that, I don't know, you can skip ahead, I guess. Now, using masks can achieve a variety of editing tricks, probably the most common and sought after one being, well, this one. Now there's two of me, but how am I doing this? Well, really, the hardest part about this effect is setting up a shot like this. You really just have to make sure that everything is as close to identical as you possibly can when you're taking these two shots. Obviously, there's not actually two of me. What I did was I took one shot here of me talking to you, explaining, and then another shot of me walking in and sitting down on the couch. And I merged them together, making sure that the angle, the lighting, and the background to be as close as possible to the original shot so that the transition here looks seamless. This borderline between these two shots isn't as obvious as long as the lighting and background are the same. It's also very important to plan out this shot. You need to know where each version of yourself is going to be so that you can make space for the next version of you to occupy that space. Otherwise, things get cluttered and, you know, you have crossover and it gets a little bit messy and you have to go back and fix that up. And that takes a very long time and you don't want to deal with that. So making sure that each version of yourself kind of has its own space to exist in is usually what I like to do is I like to take a little bit more complicated anything as really start just adding mark spaces to not go past, knowing that I can occupy this space here and he can occupy that space there and he could have occupied the space over there. Making sure that nothing really crosses is a very important part of this process. Again, like I said, otherwise you'd have to go back and clean up a bunch of stuff. So how about we create a scene like this? The scene that I kind of want to create is sort of like a character select screen kind of thing. Think of like a Risk of Rain 2 kind of vibe. When you're in the lobby and you have the four people kind of lined up and they're kind of doing like idle animations. Let's try to make something like that, but in real life with real props and real costumes. I already have these sort of like natural kind of like separations. We got the red space here, the black space here, and we've got a little bit of carpet area here. I will use some of these lines, this sort of barrier here between the red and the black, and the barrier here between the black and the carpet to identify areas that I, as a character, need to stand in to prevent some of this masking issues. These separate cushions, and you can see this in another one of the videos that I did, the Bandit video. You should check it out. It's very, very good. I spent a long time on it, did a lot of hard work. Watch it. Please. I used an old couch that I don't have here anymore, but I used the same kind of technique that I'm going to use here, where each of these individual couch cushions can act as a sort of physical representation of a barrier that you don't want to cross as you're playing a different version of yourself. Let's check our angle really quick. This is very important. So I'm going to adjust our angle just ever so slightly. And by ever so slightly, I mean I'm going to change it completely so that this shot that I'm thinking of will work. No, because it would be so funny if I just wasn't recording the whole time. That'd be hilarious, right? Hey, it's me, Close Mic this time. Now we have all of our takes, and now we're gonna take them and we're gonna import them in and stack them on top just like this. Then we're gonna go over here to our opacity modifier and add a mask, and then we're going to click and drag it. We're going to adjust our points here to kind of give the outline that we need, this sort of basic like rectangle shape. Because we have myself over here on the left side occupying that area, and we're just going to block that off. And then we're just going to do it again for each of these individual takes, except for the last one, which is going to serve as our underlying base. And then we're going to sort of clean up a little bit here where we just adjust the brightness. And then when we're done with that, so how do we apply this to making a Boondocks intro? Well, for your first kind of transition where we have Huey with his face being split apart into multiple different layers, we're going to make a mask, and we're going to have to do this 4 times where we make these sort of like slices that go across. We'll go back and forth in between these, so you see how it transitions from the full face of this character to the slice here, and then we're going to do that 4 more times, just again going to create a rectangular mask, moving it to match the sort of image we have on the background to make sure that it all kind of lines up. And then we're going to have to extend them all and stack them on top of each other so that they come in at different points, lining up with where it is in the actual intro that we're making a parody of. Since we're kind of doing it shot for shot, we can like go back and forth and reference the original with the one that we're making. So then we just extend it out and we get our result here. For this second transition, it's a lot of the same. We're making the 4-sided masks, the rectangle masks, and we're fitting them to the reference that we have, except this time you'll notice we're not splitting the video up into 4 different parts. We had to do that last time because they're sitting at different heights, slightly different heights, and this time it's all going to be, we're putting multiple masks on the same video, and then we can, since we do it that way, we can move the entire video all at the same time and give this like very slow drifting effect that all of these chopped up bits kind of seem to have as they like all kind of move at the same time. It's a lot easier to get that effect when you're doing it with a mask than it is to do it if you're, say, using like a crop or anything like that. So from here we have this video chopped up into sections of 2 or 3 frames to really have this transition happen over time. And every 2 or 3 frames a new slice will come in, so after you chop it up, then you have to go back and select each one of those individual chopped up videos and enable or disable whichever masks need to be
present. By enable or disable, I mean you need to delete the masks that don't need to be there, delete the slices that aren't supposed to be there yet, and then let the slices that are supposed to be there at that point in the transition stay. And when you do all that, then you'll have that actual transition where each of the slices come in every 2 or 3 frames, and they replace other slices that you have if you've timed it all correctly. And remember, again, you go back to your reference if you need to check out the timing for that, and just, I mean, it's right there. So this third and final transition that I'm going to talk about is pretty much the same, but this one is going to be, we're looking at actually animating those masks and making them extend. Really all you need to do is just set the mask path to be keyframeable, and then it'll lock in that path. And then if you move along on the timeline a little bit and then stretch the mask to wherever you want it to end up, it will automatically create that second keyframe, and with those keyframes it will automatically sort of animate the mask itself to stretch and show off more of the video that you're looking to do. Got to do that 4 times because we got 4 rectangles here, and then that's it.